Hello and welcome back to another on the rest of and to another edition of AEW Collision Out of 10 on a special Thursday night episode. And yes, smart move for AEW to avoid clashing with the WWE PLE at the weekend. And this week's show gave a few solid reasons to tune in for. And we started off with one of those matches, but before that, the show opened with Toni Storm appearing in one of the balcony boxes in the venue to give a promo. She said she wanted a new challenge and doesn't want to wait for the Owen Hart cut to be finished, but this is where the promo ended. The first match of the night saw Ricochet take on Angelico. We don't see him too often on TV, but Serpentico was with him. And yeah, Ricochet scored a quick 2 and bragged about it like he won something. So Angelico took him down and began to wrench his arm. Ricochet got upset and chased Serpentico around with a chair as the show cut to break. He was doing a lot of crowd work, which just made the fans boom louder. He's getting a lot of heat and turning it into a character like a pro. We all know how good he is, but this bout went a long way towards reminding people that Angelico is also great. He and Ricochet were good in their first match together for over 8 years, and the match included a lot of crowd participation as well, so it may not have been the spot fest some expected, but it was fun back and forth. Ricochet, unsurprisingly, getting a win with the Spirit Gun, but it wasn't as easy of a win as he had expected. After the match, he gave a promo and talked trash to Zach Gowen, who was sitting in the front row, and ended up taking out 3 members of security. Gowen got in the ring to stop him, but Ricochet kicked out his prosthetic leg from under him before hitting him with a Spirit Gun. He ripped off his prosthetic leg and took it with him. We're going to get a match between these two on Dynamite. Did not see that coming, but yeah, that's certainly going to be an interesting watch. And yeah, in the whole, a great fun match to start the show, so yeah, good stuff. We got a big 8-man tag match this week with Carl Fletcher, Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta and Lance Archer of the Don Callis family taking on AR Fox, Bandido, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. The ROH champion Fletcher started the match for their teams. The Masked Man got the upper hand, but Beretta tagged in and turned him inside out with a running elbow strike. 8-man tag matches can be chaotic and hard to follow at times, especially in AEW, but these guys did a good job making sure the big moments mattered. As expected, this bout was a lot of fun and had high risk spots to keep the crowd invested. Tags stopped mattering after a little while, but everyone played their part and made it a fun showcase for all people involved. Trent and Rocky got the win for their team with a double team move to call the Jagged Call Driver to end the fun contest. So yeah, this gets a good 6 out of 10 for me. A good match. I thought, considering the way they usually do 6 out of 8-man matches, I thought this worked well, and yeah, probably the right result. Moving on then to Anthony Bowen versus Lee Johnson. After defeating Blake Christian last week, Bowens found himself facing Vanilla Baby's tag partner Johnson. The crowd was behind Bowens and chanted his name as they locked up and began to work. The 5-tool player got a quick 2 to do with a roll-up before they started trading moves. This wasn't a squash, but it wasn't a long match. It only seemed competitive for the sake of a totally one-sided affair. But Bowens won with a Wally Whoop, and Gunn ejected Christian from the ring, and when he tried a post-match tag. Yeah, I'll give it a bang standard squash, to be honest, 5 out of 10. But moving on then to Chris Statlander against Willow Nightingale. The Gates of Agony came out and gave a promo directed at Bill and Keith. They called him out for a fight while playing to the crowd, so it seems like AEW might want them as faces going forward. Be an interesting move. Bill and Keith showed up and immediately started fighting with them. They battled all around the ring, and even break some tables near the ring. As the fight ended, we got a video package showing their history before Willow and Stat began their match, and they shoved each other a few times before Nightingale got the first takedown. They talked a little trash in between spots, and both women slapped the taste out of each other's mouths a few times as they upped the aggression. This wasn't the kind of match that was the big spots that could peck you in. This was designed to make it feel like a more personal fight, and they did a good job making it feel like it was that way. The crowd seemed very invested, but didn't want to seem to favour one talent over the other. It was an entertaining and hard-fought match that made both women look like good opponents. Unfortunately, the Death Riders got involved and Marina Shafir used the chain to attack Willow behind the ref's back. This allowed a clueless Stat to hit her finisher for the win. Having a dirty ending for this makes sense, even if it's not a satisfying conclusion. We haven't seen the last of this storyline. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for me. I thought, yeah, a really good match. I'm very intrigued to see it goes forward, even though we didn't get a clean finish here. We then got the Dark Order taking on Takeshita and Josh Alexander, and yeah, the heels attacked Dark Order as soon as the match got underway. Once it got started, Don Callis family maintained the upper hand. Uno got in a couple of moves before he was tagged in, but it wasn't much. Alexander hit a pile driver on Reynolds for the win in what was essentially a squash match. No surprise there, but yeah, moving on to Speedball and Jalisco having a rematch following their highly entertaining counter at the beginning of April. Jalisco backed Bailey to the corner and hit a stiff chop, but Speedball recovered quickly and took control a few moments later. The Luchador sent him into the steel steps for a Hurricane Rana to send the show to a break. After a return, they got into a striking contest. Both men hit a lot of stiff kicks and chops, but it was Speedball who came out on top. It would be rather surprising that neither man had any bruises after this match. Bailey picked up the win with a spinning kick to the face to end an exciting bout that will probably be considered a show stealer by most. Rouge showed a speedball, was celebrating, but they didn't fight. We'll get that match soon. But yeah, very intrigued by that. And I thought this probably trumped their first match round. So I thought it was great from start to finish. Bailey getting another important win as he's really building up momentum in his new home. So yeah, this is great stuff. 8 out of 10. We then got Daniel Garcia versus a member of FTR who turned out to be Dax Harwood. And this week's main event, Garcia came into this match not knowing which member of FTR he'd be facing, but it was Dax. Stokely and Cash were at ringside to watch Garcia back Dax to the corner and slapped his bald head to taunt him. While both are great technical wrestlers, Harwood had a bit of a size and experience advantage, so he could bully Garcia at times. Harwood tried to use the ring bell as a weapon, but was thwarted by the ref. The distraction allowed Wheeler to pull Garcia out of the ring for a DDT on the ground. Dirty Magic showed up to defend his friend and fight Wheeler. As expected, this was a hard-fought match with lots to like. Both of these guys great at building intensity as the match progresses, so his physicality picked up as time went on. Harwood was bloodied and Garcia was sent into an exposed turnbuckle. It didn't end the match. Harwood ended up having a confrontation with Nigel McGuinness and shoved him back to the ring. Stoke had the ref distracted and that allowed Nigel to get out of the ring. He and Garcia took out FTR with Dougie Magic joining in. The ref bailed out with the match basically ended without the bell ring or official decision. A decent way to set up Garcia and Nigel versus FTR, but not having an ending was a bit of a letdown. But yeah, very excited to see Nigel McGuinness back in the ring again. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Overall, AEW Collision this week gets a 7 out of 10 from me. I thought, yeah, for a special Thursday episode of Collision, it had some fun matches and a few story developments. Didn't feel like any of the bigger feuds were addressed. It was kind of a bog-standard episode of Collision, but I really did enjoy that Speedball versus Bailey match. And yeah, Nigel McGuinness potentially getting back in the ring as well. Very exciting. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. That's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.